What's going on, guys? TKD 1, 2, 3 back a video, and we got a ton of stuff in the music that we're talking about right now. We have a lot of things that are going on. It's been just a crazy. I'm just looking through XXL, looking through all these websites, and there is a ton of things to discuss here. So let's get right into it. Starting off here at the top of my list, we have an artist here called Black. If you guys know or familiar with the channel, you guys know I reviewed his debut project Free Black a few weeks ago, and that he is now a father. He had this long Instagram post that was posted to his personal Instagram talking about the event and talking about how he wasn't exactly there to witness a child being birthed. I believe it was a daughter, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was daughter. But sad the point, he goes into detail that he was about to go on stage at a show across the country, and that's when he got a call from his wife or his girlfriend saying that, hey, I'm about to go in labor, it's happening, I'm having a kid, you're not gonna be here, and he just goes on on this heartfelt post about how he feels kind of bad for missing it, all this stuff like that, and he talks a lot about the baby. I definitely think you should go check out this post. It's very, very heartfelt, very awesome to see this kind of angle from an artist. Like, it's kind of rare we see this this full-on emotion of of an actual effect and then an actual event in life. It's very, very cool to see. So let's go check that out on his personal Instagram. And of course, congrats Mr. Black. I've got your real name, but congratulations on the kid. I'm sure fatherhood will treat you well and stuff like that. And beside that point, he also dropped a new song with Jhene Aiko called First Fuck, and I haven't heard that song, but I've heard good things about that song. I don't know by personal testament, but I assume if it's Black and Jhene Aiko, one artist I like, recently, and another artist that I've loved for years now, pretty sure it'd be a pretty good track. So maybe we check that out as well. Next up here, we have Hove, Jay-Z, Mr. Carter, whatever you want to call him, the man, the myth, the legend. He is, truly defined hip hop in a lot of ways, and it really is, a very much a pillar that is, forever, in hip hop, and that is never more true than it is right now. He has been inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and he is the first rapper to be on the Hall of Fame, and it's a huge, huge thing. It's a huge commendable honor to be given from Jay-Z, from those controlling the Songwriters Hall of Fame list. I don't know who does, but it is a very, very big thing, not only for Jay-Z, but for hip-hop in general. He also released a tweet with these exact same thoughts, saying that, hey, listen, this is not a victory for me. This is not a victory for Jay-Z. This is not, a self-inflicted, a self-inflicted victory. This is a victory for all hip-hop, all rap, for all of us, to be, just represented in a type of fashion. Definitely, does, have big commends, big ups to Jay-Z. He deserves it. He's a great songwriter and all that good stuff. And he's overall a great person in the industry, period. And, on the cusp of him winning this, he also created an exclusive title playlist that features a bunch of artists that he feels should be inducted into the Hall of Fame along with himself. And these, people include Kanye West, Tupac, Biggie, Nas, etc. So, all these big name people, that he had in this playlist. It's like 15 tracks, I think. It's like a 10-15 track thing, and he believes that all of these should be on the Hall of Fame list just as he is. Next up here, Los Angeles. Okay, it's a crazy city. You see a bunch of crazy things. I went there recently last summer, with my friends. We saw insane things, like crazy things. But one of the things that are, is not featured in LA is something that I guess you would have probably never guessed. I would have never guessed would have happened. But a man that creates artists, sculptures, if you will, creates canvases, creates art in general, does so around the Oscar season, right? And these projects and sculptures are honed in around a certain theme, a certain topic. And this year he chose to poke fun at Kanye West. Now, poking fun is a little bit of a thing that is kind of misleading. I'll go into in a little bit, but basically what he created was a crucifixion, just like Jesus Christ, but instead of Jesus Christ, it is Kanye West, and on the bottom it says false idol, right? And he openly says that, hey, listen, this is not to make fun of Kanye West. I'm a Kanye West fan. I enjoy his music, but however, he is not a god, right? This is what he says. Like Kanye West is not Jesus incarnated. We like to poke fun, oh yeah, Jesus, whatever. But bottom line here, Kanye West is not a god, right? So then he goes on to basically explain that this is more poking fun at the fans, at everyone putting him at this high pedestal just because he has talent, and he feels that it's very wrong to hold up a person to a godlike standard just because of their talent. So it's more of a thing that's making fun of the overall fans of Kanye West and stuff like that. So hey man, I guess that was a pretty cool thing. It looks like a great sculpture, it looks cool. I bet Kanye West even tried to buy it. I feel like he would definitely pull some type of thing where he will try to to buy the sculpture, maybe put it on his house, whatever. But I could totally see him bidding money for that thing, because I mean, hey, bottom line, it looks pretty dope. It was full on gold. You know, there's stuff on his junk, you know, to cover his junk, whatever. It's a cool sculpture. It's a cool sculpture. Next up here, we have a fail on 2 Chainz. Now this is, you know, kind of heartbreaking to hear. Kind of heartbreaking. I like 2 Chainz, but he owns a restaurant just like many other rappers. You know, Drake owns Frings in Toronto, and DJ Khaled owns Miami Finger Lickin', I think it's called, down in Miami, like this spot where you can order wings and chicken and stuff like that. And you know, 2 Chainz also has his own restaurant. This restaurant called Escobar Restaurant and Tapas, you know, is a restaurant that he, you know, started up, and he, you know, is currently overseeing and is the owner of this restaurant. And apparently they had their first health inspection a few weeks ago and failed horribly. They scored a 59% on their health inspection test. And me, I work in a restaurant. I know how these things go. I know how, you know, the overall thing it is to get inspected by a health inspector. I know how this whole thing goes. And what they got marked down here is pretty sad. Like, it doesn't, like, you would have to be really bad as a restaurant to even, you know, fail on these fronts, you know, as a whole. I mean, it's really bad. They had raw seafood next to cooking utensils. They had black and red mold-like substances inside the ice machines, I mind you know, inside it, you know, not around it, inside where the ice is going and where you're gonna get your ice for the drinks. There was black and red mold substances. Who knows what that could mean? And on top of that, they were cooking chicken, you know, they were using for wings and stuff like that, and other entree dishes on the menu. They were cooking it at lower temperatures than what you should be at. You know, they were saying that it was below 140, and that is not the cooking temps you want to cook at. You want to cook at, you know, way higher ones to get rid of the bacteria and stuff like that, and you know, to fully cook the chicken. But they were cooking it at way lower temperatures, and it was causing a lot of health issues, and obviously they failed on that front. So since then, 2 Chainz has fired the bosses that currently, you know, worked there and were around when this whole thing went down, and he has since hired new ones to maybe, you know, instill some order, instill some you know, some fair practices in restaurant business and stuff like that. So hopefully, you know, things go well. I think he has his next health inspection for the place on March 3rd, which coming up here in a few days. So I guess we'll hear back and we'll touch base on if, I guess, his restaurant passes the health inspection. Next up here in the dock, we have Metro Boomin. Now, Metro Boomin is everywhere. He is on every freaking beat you hear nowadays. He's doing big things, man. He's young. He's only 23, and he is already doing major big things, and he is not stopping in 2017. The most desired producer, you know, was asked, hey, in 2017, what do you plan on doing, right? And he said that he's coming out with a debut album, his own album, so he's working on that, and that'll be dropping, he says, in 2017. Who knows, you know, with this whole thing, who knows what's gonna actually happen, but he said that he wants to put out this album in 2017, and along with that, he's also starting his own record label. And he says, you know, he doesn't want this label to be the same cookie cutter type of thing that we see, you know, in the past. He wants to bring in new artists, new vibes, new sounds, and make, you know, a whole kind of new, I guess, you know, outlook and outplace, you know, to have, you know, artists come in that may not be the same sound as him, but sound good overall, you know, and just have new vibes to the industry. So that, hey, man, like, you cannot diss that, you know what I'm saying? Like, he is out here doing new things. He wants to create new sounds, new vibes, stuff like that. So hey, man, I definitely do commend Metro Boomin for making that step, and also, you know, being, you know, a big producer here in the industry. Like, he is the most sought after producer, I feel, in a lot of ways in hip hop. Like, everyone wants to work with Metro Boomin, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he is on a lot of projects that we hear, you know, on a weekly basis. So definitely do have big reps up to Metro Boomin. Congratulations on the record label, and I hope all of those things actually come to fruition. Tupac, he was murdered over 20 years ago. That's crazy, but beside the point, Tupac's BMW is currently, you know, being up for auction. Now, you know, oh, why is that so weird? It's just Tupac's car, but this is not any ordinary BMW. This is the BMW that he was shot in the night in Vegas that he died. That's 96. This is the exact same car that he was shot in, and they have since been passed down from 2, I think, to 3 owners and stuff like that, and they have since put on 90,000 miles on the car ever since the shooting, and they have since restored the car, you know, redid a lot of things of it, and are putting it up for sale for $1.5 million. Now, this car is not fully renovated, it's not fully fixed. There are still bullet holes from that night in Vegas when Tupac was killed in the passenger seat of that BMW. So you can still, you know, see the actual bullet marks and bullet holes scattered around the car, I guess. And this is on sale for $1.5 million. So if you would like to buy this, if you have $1.5 million, you know, just laying around somewhere, you can purchase, you know, the final resting place of Tupac. And then we go on to the beef that shook Twitter, shook the world. Nicki Minaj versus Remy Ma. Now, what the hell happened? Now, I don't listen. I was out doing a lot of things this weekend. I was not paying attention to this fully, but I did listen to the diss track that Remy Ma put out. But we're gonna get to that in a little bit. But just to catch everybody up to speed, you guys are not sure what the hell happened here. Nicki Minaj put out 2 songs on Friday, February 24th, and those songs were "Make Love" and "Swallow." Now, I did not listen to these songs. I don't know, what actual lines are being put up to question as to her, starting a beef with Remy Ma. I don't know what really was said in those songs, but apparently, allegedly, right? Take my word for it. Take my research that I did. These 2 songs contain lines that apparently are shots taken at Remy Ma, right? And so this comes out Friday. Saturday, right? I'm driving to ASU. I'm driving to Tempe. I'm driving to the Ray Shremmer concert, right? That you guys saw in the vlog yesterday. And my friend in the car plays this Remy Ma diss track that she put out. It is 7 minutes long. It's called Sheather, whatever it's called. And oh my god, dude, I was laughing the entire. Oh my god, it was the funniest thing I have heard in a long time. That is, like, listen, I thought Back to Back was great. I thought Back to Back was really, really good as a diss track in hip hop. But oh my god, Remy Ma clapped on the beat. She was making accusations that she was cheating with that guy on Hot 97, Ebro, whatever his name was. Like, she was taking shots left and right. She was taking shots on personal family affairs, how like Nicki Minaj paid for her brother's wedding when her brother was in a lawsuit for being a child molester, like all this crazy stuff. Like she was taking shots left and right on some personal things that, like, I felt like, yo, I don't think that was cool to bring up, man. Like you don't bring up, like the family. Like, just, I mean, if you're beefing with Nicki Minaj, stick, like stick the slander and stick the beef with Nicki Minaj. Don't go, targeting the family. Like, well, man, I just it was low-key messed up, but low-key just funny to hear. And there was so many shots, it's insane. Nicki Minaj has not, put out another diss track in a rebuttal fashion. I'm sure we'll see that at some point here pretty soon. So I guess I'll get you guys up to speed once that drops. But this is an intense war. This is funny. This is hilarious. And lastly here, to wrap up this long episode, we're gonna talk about Meek Mill. Now, Meek Mill, right? There was some interesting comments, brought about Meek Mill from The Game this weekend. Now, The Game on his Instagram has stated that, the robbery that Nicki Minaj had a few weeks ago that, was at her house, and she was robbed of $200,000 worth of stuff, whether it be, jewelry or whatever. Like, it wasn't really detailed what exactly was stolen, but Nicki Minaj got robbed. I reported that in a few videos ago, but beside the point, The Game thinks that Meek Mill is behind it all. The Game claims that, because of the fallout of them two dating, and because they had like a lot of bad blood between the two, that triggered Meek Mill to basically go and have Nicki Minaj's house robbed. And that, seems a little far-fetched, seems a little crazy, seems something that, like, I feel like I don't believe personally, but I mean, who knows really? I mean, like, and like, really, what proof does The Game have? Because, he didn't bring any proof to the subject. He didn't bring any real evidence to support his claims. So maybe, this could be just the Game talking, just The Game maybe just coming up with speculations, whatever. But there's something to think here. Maybe Meek Mill got so troubled of them two breaking up that he really had her house robbed of $200,000. Like, it sounds crazy, but I mean, it's Meek Mill. I mean, like, it's Meek Mill. Also, 2 more funny Meek Mill stories. Over the weekend, Meek Mill was out on his ATV doing his thing, whatever, and a group of girls wanted to take a picture with Meek Mill. He declined, and then they got in the car. As they were driving away, all mad at Meek Mill for not taking a picture with them, they started playing back to back on the radio really loud, and Meek Mill blew it off as a joke, whatever. But I felt like that was funny. That was good. Good job, Blaze. Good stuff. Good job. And then also, the last story of the day, I know it's long, guys, I know. The last story here was that Meek Mill was caught inside of a club jamming out to Fake Love. Now, a lot of people are saying that, hey, he did not know that he was being recorded during this thing. He did not know that, there was cameras on him. So maybe, potentially, Meek Mill was a low-key Drake fan, even though he's supposed to hate him for all the stuff they went through. But hey, man, like, I guess, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to think of that. I just thought it was funny how he got caught singing and jamming out to Fake Love, and it is basically his #1 enemy in the industry. So Meek Mill, it's okay. Fake Love's a good song. It's fine. You can enjoy it. It's cool. Don't worry about it. And on that note, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and then share all these down below. I appreciate the video you give me. Thank you for watching. And as always, I got you.